Here we are at ZZ Tech's Tesla from the outside in. This is behind the scenes. That's cool. The first thing I noticed right away is the panoramic sunroof.
So the whole the Model 3 has a divider right here, but the Model Y, the whole thing is glass.
It's glass.
So
yeah.
you can see my suction marks. I put it like right here.
Yeah.
It kind of sits like right here.
Oh, I should be.
Which is kind of good because I get the mic on the. I don't use an extension mic on those. I just.
And then do they all come with that tint?
Yeah, that's tinted.
Okay.
The back of this one was tinted, but the tint on the sides and the back is just dark. It doesn't have any UV protection or IR protection.
Okay.
This does.
Okay.
But I ended up putting like 70% on all the windows for IR protection.
So
it keeps it cooler in here.
Boys and girls at home, if you're like this, that means you're not going to get burned. Okay. Let's check out your screen.
I'm trying to see where it is. I do have cabin overheat protection on.
Okay.
So when it gets to 105 degrees inside, it'll turn on, and you can say just blow the fan or with the AC. So I tinted all inside with the IR protection to help keep it cooler here in the summer. I never did the windshield, so it still does get hot here.
And then which size screen is this?
14.
14. Okay.
13. Maybe I think this is a 13. The new S and X refresh models, the higher premium cars, have a 14 now, in the dash.
Okay.
Kind of like this. So this is a 13. Yeah.
Well, it's very sleek.
Yeah.
Like minimalist, which is cool.
The dash is lower because you got no engine up there. This is a dual motor. There's one motor up front and one in the back.
Mm-hmm.
But everything is lower. Even the steering wheel, like you can see the hood. There's no engine up there. It just
goes straight down. That's even more angled than mine.
Yeah, and if you that's basically what it looks like. The whole floor pan of the car here
is a battery.
Motor, and this is a dual motor model. You can get a single motor, which just in the front.
Okay.
So this motor does these two wheels. This one does these two. Put an all-wheel drive in the dual motor.
So you're good in the snow.
It is good in the snow. Yeah. These are 20-inch wheels, the upgraded wheels with the smaller profile tire on them.
Mm-hmm.
So in the snow, it's more like a sportier car. I don't want to say the traction is still great, but I'm not pounding through 2 feet like I would with a Jeep.
Right.
But it handles really well. Yeah, and it's got all the weight is the battery pack on the bottom here.
Okay. And
so when you're driving,
that would make it hard to flip.
Well, yeah, there's no body roll at all. When you make turns at this, you just feel it
hugs
a little. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Well, with all the super acceleration I hear about, that's probably a good.
Yeah, where should we go?
Counterbalance. Let's see. If we go down Belmont, that's downhill, and there's probably more traffic this way.
Belmont to on the highway back to the exit.
Okay.
And when we get out there,
definitely no engine noise.
Oh no.
I see what you mean with like the battery weight. Like you don't bounce and keep bouncing. It's like you're hugging.
Yeah, and the 20-inch wheels help with that. And since I'm on the FSD beta firmware, the visualization looks different. There's a lot more to see there.
Okay.
Than a normal car. You wouldn't see any of this stuff.
Right. Yeah, the tracer lines are cool.
And there's really just a one gearbox in each motor. It's like a 1 to 9 gear step down. So there's no changing gears. All that is done just inside the motor itself. So no matter where you are, there's always instant torque.
Holy shit.
Even when you're going fast, you just...
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what it is? You feel like you tilt back, like your head goes back, your feet go up. It's almost like a roller coaster, like when you first start going down the hill.
So when they make their motors, they stress test them, and then there's a cutoff. So if the motor passes over a certain value, they'll put those into the performance model cars, and the electric controllers that put power into the motors will allow to put more in there, so you get a little bit more power out of the performance.
Okay.
This is not a performance, so even with the performance models would have more kickoff
Well, I've seen some of those like plaid videos and stuff where like
is ridiculous.
Right, when the guy driving guns it without telling the passenger, and it's their first time in the car, and they look like they're gonna have a heart attack.
Yeah. So when you have the two symbols up here, that's the speed limit sign, but that's your dynamic cruise control. And that is your autopilot, auto steering. Since I have the FSD beta image that does the FSD, so if I just engage it now, it'll start driving itself. And I don't have a destination, so it's just going to go
until you make an adjustment. Yeah. Look at that, everybody. Gas is at 350 and probably going up, and Jim doesn't have to worry about it.
Not yet. So let's see if...
Okay, so when it says work, like you have a preset there?
Yeah. So I already have it. It's going to take us out here, so we can let it go. It already has its turn signal on. It worked off, it's going. The FSD and self-driving really pay attention to rules of the roads, not unwritten rules like when you should start moving over and. So I will do that. Especially if there's no lines really for it to follow yet.
So that line, it's trying to figure out where to go, but then it sees everything. That's cool the way.
Yeah, the line is it's where I'm going to go now. So it's kind of a little confused. I don't know if it can't see the curb there yet or what. But the other part too is, so far in these FSD beta builds, it doesn't, like I was telling you before, it doesn't know it's really at a light. Now it can see the light just fine. The camera bank for forward is up in here. But it might think that's a stopped car in front of us and it wants to go around it. That's why you see that bending.
Okay. There we go. Unplanned left turn.
Yeah. That's why we have the beta.
Here we go.
So right now with FSD beta, the original was autopilot, like highways and anything with two lines on it.
Right.
That was just autopilot. And FSD, they're actually two different stacks of programming modules and code. So right now, since we left the city street with FSD, it flipped back to normal autopilot. So this is the visualization that other people would see that don't have the FSD beta right now. But once it'll take the exit here. Once it gets off, it'll flip back to FSD.
So like right now, I'm thinking like we're both looking forward because I'm thinking Jim's got to concentrate on the road. You really don't.
No, I don't. But because I'm in the FSD beta, they actually have this cabin camera up here that's watching. So if I were to get, they show stats, they can tell the probability if you're on your cell phone, if you're not paying attention.
Got it.
So if I start looking down here for a good amount of time, it'll start alerting me to pay attention to the road.
Right.
And it makes you put your hand on the wheel. So after a certain amount of time, if it doesn't feel any resistance, it'll pop up and tell me to put my hand on it. That's it.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah. Just like force.
You start getting warnings. So if you get too many warnings, it'll actually kick you out. And if you don't do anything, it'll pull over and put its four ways on.
Basically temporarily ground you from driving.
Yeah, everyone calls it FSD jail or autopilot jail. So you can see it flip back to the FSD look now that we're on the local road.
Well, it's definitely smooth. Like I'm thinking when I go to drive home, my car's gonna sound like a bucket of bolts.
Yeah, it's definitely. You
don't hear anything.
The Model 3 and Y are the lower end. I don't even call them lower end, but the S and X cars have a lot more sound deadening and padding and stuff in them. This is taking this nice. These really don't, but I've added aftermarket rubber rubber seals and added more soundproofing to it.
Mm-hmm.
I still have some more to do.
No rattles in Jim's car.
It's actually taking these turns quite nicely.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even noticing right now that the car's driving.
Yeah. Every now and then you want like that, a little bit of a jerk.
Yeah.
I'm still on,
And that one.
I'm still on 10.5, 10.6, 10.7, and even 10.8 betas have a lot more, the better steering. They smooth out. They call it, I guess, they actually use the word jerk, like jerk burst ratio or something like that. It's really using the 8, but 7 cameras to stitch all the videos together to like a 3D pattern, almost like a VR world.
Yeah.
To see objects.
I saw a video where somebody broke all that stuff down. It might even been one of their videos.
Yep. But I think it has issues with sometimes with shadows and like paved, patched areas where it might think that's a solid object sticking up where it's not. And I think that's why you get a lot of random braking.
Mm-hmm.
Like even like these tree shadows, every now and then it might be like, what's that? Until it has to figure it out.
Yeah, when you're like, no, it's an autopilot, and then it's making that turn with the curve. You hope it doesn't do like a last minute jerk, but it was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, so far so good. We got speed bumps up here. I was told that they pulled the speed bump detection out of this version.
Huh.
So we'll see.